I thought that we came out a little rusty, a little ragged, especially on defense in the first half. I thought the secondary in the first half played horribly. I thought they played a lot better in the second half. I thought the offense was moving the ball pretty good, but was hurting themselves with penalties. That kept them from having maybe a better night than they did. But winning 9 games and on course to win 10 and hopefully maybe 11, that's going to put us in the elite class of college football. I don't know how many last year. I know how many teams last year had 11 wins. There was only 6 in the entire country. So I'm guessing if we win 10, we'll be in the top 15. And if you do that 3 years in a row or 4 years in a row, something like that, that's pretty good stuff. That's a big-time program that you're getting to watch, whether you believe it or not. And then the last thing I'll say is that's one of the best performances, if not the best performance I've ever witnessed on a football field by Rashad Penny. I might have seen a couple that were close, but my goodness. Rushed for, I'm trying to see what he rushed for. Rushed for 222 yards, returned a kickoff for a touchdown that set a school record, returned a punt for a touchdown. I mean, gee, and he had a 60 or 70-yarder called back. Now, I mean, there's some guys helping him with that. There's the guys blocking on the kick returns, and there's some big guys and receivers blocking for him in the running game. But you don't see many players as good as Rashad, and you don't very often get to see him a lot. But that was by far his best game for us. And if anybody was still awake back east, they ought to watch and find out he's one of the best 5 players in the country. I mean, I've seen a lot of really good players. They don't do things like he did. How many running backs in the country that are in the top 10 in rushing return punts? Tell me. How many of them return kickoffs?
Well, it was only the second time ever that a guy had done all 3.
Mm-hmm.
So that says a lot right there.
We even tried to let him throw a pass, but instead he ran for a touchdown.
You were smiling after that one.
I was. I didn't want to see him throw that left-handed pass. I've seen him throw in practice. He's okay when nobody's around him, but there was a lot of people around him that time. So he did the smart thing. Right? He did the smart thing. Just tuck it under and outrun him to the end zone. That was smart.
When did you decide to have him start returning punts?
Him and Quest have been the 2 best guys catching punts in practice ever since we started in the fall. And we've wanted to do it, but we thought he was going to be getting too many carries the other way, and we didn't want him to take a chance of getting him beat up. Well, now we're at the end of the season, so we thought it was a real good idea to give him a chance to prove to everybody he's also a pretty good punt returner. And maybe some of those guys back east would actually realize it's a real good football player out here on the West Coast. I don't plan on them doing that, but I sure wish they would.
Kind of hard to ignore, right, this one?
Yeah, they ignored one last year, too. And they've been – I saw the list of the 6 or 7 on ESPN today. I saw the list of the 6 or 7 guys that are the best players in the country. I didn't see Rashad's name on there. I mean, you know because you've watched him all this time. I know because I've watched him. But they're not going to give him the credit he deserves.
But don't you think, Rocky, that this is one of those performances where, because it's a single game and the astonishing yardage amount that they have to.
Let's hope so. I'll be positive tonight. Let's hope so they do. I'll try not to be realistic. I'll try to be positive.
Would it help if you play in the next game at like midday?
I don't know. I don't know how many people are going to be watching on Friday. Quite a few, because they'll still be full from Thanksgiving and stuff. Maybe quite a few people will be watching.
So it was, I mean, the punt return aside, I mean, 22 carries isn't a ton for him necessarily.
A lot of them were long ones, though.
Right. No. But I guess the question being, did you kind of go into the game going, man, we're getting this guy?
No.
Today.
We don't ever go into a game for any personal reasons. We did last year for the bowl game. If we have some personal reasons in the bowl game, since a bowl game's a reward, we might do something in a bowl game. But we never do a regular season game and a conference game like that. We go in to win. Well, we win a lot better when he has a good night.
Does nothing he does surprise you now, or is there something he can still do?
No, because I've seen him do it in practice, and we've curtailed his number of things he does because we want to get him through the season. We want to get him through the season healthy because he helps us win, and he's got a bright future ahead of him. And I think his future at the next level's a lot to do with he hasn't been our number one running back for the last couple of years, so he hasn't taken near as many hits as some of those other guys have that they're going to draft. So we're trying to. I mean, he's helping us win. We're trying to get him to the end of the season, but we're also trying to take care of him for the rest of his life too.
Anything else for Coach?
Rocky, just the early disappointment of the day with Fresno State. Feelings about that as far as
Congratulations to them. I mean, they deserve it. They went and won the games they needed to do, and they beat us. So I think that it's a well-deserved honor for them. It's the way it works in this business. You can't. I mean, if you want to be sure that you're going to be in the championship game, you got to win every game. We haven't ever done that. And you want me to say again how many did it last year? Not one.
Rocky, it's an offensive question, but the package with Ryan Agnew, you guys just throw that in because it was at a time where the game was still pretty tight.
Yeah, we wanted it to be that way. We didn't want it to be mop-up duty. He's been doing a really good job in practice, and he has some skills different than Christian. And since he's been playing really well in practice, and you never know when you're going to need your backup quarterback, the offense put a package in specifically for him that we wanted him to run at crunch time. Maybe not in the fourth quarter at crunch time, but we wanted him to run it when the game was still being very competitive and still in doubt. It didn't look quite as good as it did in practice.
Was part of it, too, just the way Nevada was kind of lining up against you guys?
No, I don't know. I mean, you can give him credit for that. I mean, but he missed a read. I mean, they tackle him for a loss because he should have given it to the running back. And then he runs a quarterback draw, and the lead blocker misses his block. I mean, so it didn't look as good. So give them credit for playing good.
How much concern do you still have for the secondary at this point in the season, or is that more Nevada's abilities on offense?
I think that we got lulled to sleep with the bye week because our scout team receivers aren't anything close to what Nevada's receivers are. So our guys got used to sitting on patterns and being able to run with our scout team guys, and all of a sudden they got out there, especially in the first half, and those guys were a whole lot faster than they've seen in a long time. That's one of those bye week deals that hurt you, really hurt you, because they're not used to the speed of things. I mean, it was no contest. They were just running by us like we were standing still. Well, they didn't run by us near as often in the second half because we got used to the speed.